So this is one of my favorite places to take a walk. I know, right? Trees with pink flowers. Seems very nice and nature-like. Hey guys, what's up? This is Tony. Thank you for clicking back. This video is a little bit different from prior videos if you've seen my channel. I'm in the outdoors right now with this one right here, Fiona. The topic I'm going to talk about, or it's on my mind, I've been thinking about a lot, is how lack of patience affects your life and pretty much could be detrimental to making decisions, making the right decisions, improving on your life, and it can actually really lead to doing a lot of stupid things that we usually do throughout our youth and sometimes throughout our adulthood. I know because I've done a lot of stupid things in my young adulthood and leading up to when I was about 27, 28 years old. And you're probably thinking this crazy guy is talking about patience. And I don't necessarily mean about having patience with people. I just mean about having patience in life. So I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to increase or improve on your patience. I'm going to give you guys tip number 1. Meditate or take a walk. Now it's up to you. I'm more of a walker because of this gal right here. Meditate or take a walk. I recommend, if you like meditating, meditate in the morning or take a walk, clear your mind. And at night, it's up to you if you like to walk out at night or if you just like to meditate and then fall asleep 10 minutes later. It's up to you. But it's a good way to clear your mind. So, being said, Fiona's tugging on the leash, so it's time for me to take a walk. Talk to you guys in a few. So this is one of my favorite places to take a walk. I know, right? Trees with pink flowers. Seems very nice and nature-like. So, one of the reasons why to take a walk. Good for your health. Helps you clear your mind. Besides meditating, it's actually good for your... do a little bit of exercise in the morning. So yeah, guys, take a walk. Clear your mind. It's good for your health. Alright, she's pulling me, so I gotta run. So guys, I'm back. I came back from a long walk with Fiona. It wasn't really a long walk, it took like a few minutes. We walked like 2 laps and then she huffs and puffs. She likes to chase squirrels, so she gets really tired. Well, after walking 1 lap and chasing squirrels, I get tired myself. Back to the topic of having lack of patience. We all make harsh decisions on impulses. We really don't measure what we're doing, and sometimes because we have lack of patience. And one of the things I attributed to lack of patience, especially when it comes to life and trying to get things done or succeed, is we're in the information age or the digital age where everything's out there. Everything's super transparent. So you can see the next millionaire, what they're doing, or ads, how to make money here, who's succeeding, who's not succeeding. People buying new cars, houses, everything. It's all super transparent, especially if you see it on social media, on the news, or you see updates of people succeeding. So you as an individual, you're like, I want that too. So how do I get there? You ask yourself that very question. And you go off impulse. You want to get there as fast as you can. You see an overnight sensation, and you forget that the overnight sensation actually took a few years to get to where they are now. So they're not really an overnight sensation. They're more like, I busted my ass for 7 years, 8 years, and then all of a sudden it actually worked. Something worked out, and now I'm famous. So seeing all these success stories, you're like, I want to get there as fast as I can. Without realizing that there's a lot of work involved. When I mean a lot of work, I mean a lot of work, so you have to be patient. And that's where patience comes in. Is take the time. Work at it. Work to being successful. It takes time to become an overnight sensation. Work at your craft. If you're an artist, still work on your artistic side. You have a side hustle. You have a job. You're working full time, but you still have your artistic hustle. Continue at it. It takes time to build up. And sometimes we make irrational decisions to try to get there as fast as we can, and it ends up being a hot mess. I would know because I did a few of them where it pretty much landed me to the point where I had negative money in my bank account. So I tell you from experience, don't try to get there as fast as you can. It's really not a 0 to 63-second race thing. It's more of a I gotta get there as successfully as I can while taking my time. Now, but when I say being patient, I don't mean don't do anything and things will come. That's just, you know, being super optimistic and not doing anything about it. Being patient means, you know things will come as long as you're doing the work. Just wait. Just wait. So we go to tip number 2. Active listening. Practicing being patient with active listening. And why is that called active listening? Many of you may have heard active listening from taking public speaking classes, or simply just heard the term from communication classes if you're a communications major. Basically, if you have anything to do with communications, you heard the term active listening. And why is it important? Well, when you active listen, then you hear opinions, you take them in, and you're able to analyze them instead of reacting to it immediately, which is when your emotions get in the way and it blocks you from actually analyzing messages or criticism, and you end up doing something stupid. I would know. So, practice active listening. That's my second tip. Now, there's some good active listening videos. I may list them in the description, the links, so you can watch them and learn more about active listening. And it'll serve you really good. Practice active listening. That's tip number 2. So when we come back, because right now I got to do a bit of a work. Actually, I have to work out. That's my work right now. I got to work out. Can't afford being fat coming out of quarantine. So we'll come back with tip number 3 later on in the day. So tune in for tip number 3. So now we're going to tip number 3. In how to improve on your lack of patience and experiences on why lack of patience affected my life and why it could affect yours if you don't improve on it. So when it comes to lack of patience, going back what I was saying, and my last 2 tips, when it comes to making irrational decisions, saying irrational things, sometimes trying to jump the gun and trying to make it too fast, creating shortcuts, and could result in very disastrous things happening in your life that could end up teaching you a very harsh life lesson that you may learn or may not learn, depending on whether or not you assessed and whether or not you follow tip number 3, which is pause. And when I mean pause, I don't mean like freeze at the moment and just be like, I mean pause as in think. Think before you act. Think before you speak. Just take a pause. Take a deep breath. Think internally of what you're about to do, what you're about to say, whether or not it makes sense in the long run, short term, long term, whether or not it will impact your life in a negative way or in a positive way. Let's reverse that. Whether it affect your life in a positive way or in a negative way. I like saying positive first. In a personal experience, talking about Fiona, who I now run and walk with about 3 to 4 times a day. Pre-quarantine, I used to only do it twice. So talking about Fiona, backstory, I actually adopted her from Italy. So she's Italian. She actually has a passport. But when it comes to Fiona, I made a decision about a year and a half ago. If I strictly remember, it was December of 2018 that I made the choice to actually go to Italy. Yes, I said I said it. Go to Italy and actually adopt Fiona. Now you're all looking at me, you're probably thinking in the video, this guy's either insanely rich or he's absolutely insane. And it's the latter. I'm absolutely insane. I was insane at 2018 because I didn't really think it through. And at that moment, I was in a really all-time low. I didn't pause. I didn't think about it. I just did it. Which resulted in what I consider the worst 2 traveling days of my entire life. Where I actually missed my initial flight. Ended up waiting an entire day, not getting sleeping only 2 hours in the table of a McDonald's in New York City before I took a bus back all the way to JFK and then took a flight to Italy, where I intended to spend at least 3 days, 2 nights over there in Italy exploring what would be the city of Lecco and Genoa, which I never got to do. Catastrophically, I never got to do, which I eventually have to do 2 years from now. It's a goal. But it taught me one thing. Now, I don't want to sound mean by saying that Fiona was an irrational decision, but truth be told, it was. But it also was the best decision I ever made in my life, considering that Fiona has actually been my saving grace. It taught me a lot of good things about life. It taught me a lot of positivity, how to care for another being other than myself, and another being other than a human being. You know, she literally is kind of like the spark of my day. You know, we run, we play, we horse around. She destroyed my entire sock drawer. She went through 3 pieces of furniture, which we all got upset at, but what are you gonna do when you have a puppy, right? Uh, she went through both my brother's bed and my bed. Yeah, I ended up losing my bed. Luckily, I had to buy one back, and I still owe my brother a bed. So, you know, she put me in quite a bit of debt, if not debt already. But being said, take a pause. Had I taken a pause, though, I might have not traveled to Italy. I might have never gotten Fiona. But I could have actually started a business, continue investing in my business, grow, and maybe perhaps 2, 3, 4 more months down the road, actually gone and actually adopted Fiona and probably stayed in Italy for a month. So there was a better option in adopting Fiona. There was a better way of actually attaining what I wanted at the end. But I didn't pause. I just jumped the gun. I did something that at the end of the day forced me to go back from being self-employed to working for somebody else who I completely disagreed with, even though he didn't know what he was doing, but his methodology and my methodology in insurance were completely different. And it was difficult. I created a difficult void where later on I quit. Then I went on to work for a McDonald's. But it all goes back to not taking that pause, not thinking about what I was going to do before I actually did it. And no offense to Fiona, but go getting her in December was the most irrational decision I've made that year. So we're going back. My 3 tips. 1. In the morning or night, meditate or take a walk. Number 2, active listening. Remember to always active listen to somebody, to speeches, to things being said, so you can actually analyze and understand exactly what's being said and the underlying message. Instead of just letting your emotions take out, your impatience take over, and you making rational conclusions that could result in catastrophic things you might say. Which goes to tip number 3, ties in all together, pause. Pause before you take action, pause before you make a decision, pause before you say something, think about it, and you might just avoid doing something like traveling to Italy for about only 1 day, 1 night, and then coming back to New York. Yeah, I know, crazy. And then taking an Uber from JFK all the way to New Jersey. Yeah, thinking about it, that wasn't the smartest thing in the world now. But on the good side, to end this on a good note, I do have Fiona with me. And I'll share a few pictures from Italy that I took from what actually was a really nice drive, and it makes me want to go back even more now. So I'll share those pictures with you and a few videos and pictures of Fiona so you guys get to know her besides the intro of this video. So guys, thanks for watching this video and for making it all the way to the end. Now, if you do like this video or you dislike this video, give it a thumbs up anyway, just hook me up. And if you do like my channel or end up liking the videos that I put out, just make sure you hit that little subscribe button and the notification bell, which is that little bell button thingy next to the subscribe button. Whether you like the channel or not, hook a brother up. And leave any comments if you want to share your experiences or any thoughts on the topic that I just presented. So thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Ciao.